Hello, so I'm going to have a chat about the Ashes series. After 22 years, we saw a complete whitewash by Australia on English soil. The first test was at Wembley Stadium, which saw England lose out to Australia. England only scored one try via Darrell Clarke in that second half at the end of the game. Australia, they took a while to get going. But once they got into third, fourth gear, they looked pretty much unstoppable, and that England defence was very, very soft in that first half. So Sean Wayne rang the changes in that second game after a lot of criticism from the media and fans as well. So we saw AJ Brimson go into that fullback position, and we saw Morgan Smithies come into the squad, and Callum Watkins also. Which really, helped settle England a bit better and made them a little bit more competitive in that second game. It was very wet and windy up at Liverpool for that second game, so it kind of helped England out a lot. The flow of the game was a lot better to watch under referee Grant Atkins as well. I thought he did a pretty good job overall in the series. That first half in the second game was a lot more competitive. England kicked 2 penalty goals, and Australia did the same. So in that second half, in that second game, England kind of lost concentration, and then Australia made them pay via Karen Munster and Hudson Young. So then it was 2-0 up in the series. That third game, it looked a lot better from England perspective as well as Australia. I thought both sides were a bit more comfortable, and they could relax and enjoy the rugby league, knowing that Australia had already won the series and England already lost the series, but they had nothing to really play for, and they looked like they enjoyed it a lot more than the previous 2 games. And I think being at Headingley definitely helped. The atmosphere was a lot more vibrant than the other 2 big stadiums, so I think that helped England out a little bit in their performance. But still, they only scored 1 try in that game, and that was a off-the-cuff try from Jez Litton's kick, and George Williams scored that one. But Australia didn't really look too worried about England in that game either. England were really kind of making too many errors again at international level, giving away too many penalties to really have a chance of winning that game. And even when they had the ball in Australia's half, they just weren't very good at executing any plays to really cause Australia any trouble. So overall, I think England's defence and attack really needs to improve for next year's World Cup. Australia didn't really get out of third gear, I thought, overall in the tournament. But there will be pressure from Kevin Walters to make sure this Australian side improves. The future of Sean Wayne is up in the air. I just personally think England should really have a change. I don't think he's really going to do much more than he has done. I think if England were really that good, they would have at least won one Test series on home soil against Australia, but they didn't even win one Test. Very disappointing overall with the selection of the players that were selected. We had Jake Connor, who was man of steel in the English Super League, not even included in the England squad. So that's very negative from Sean Wayne. We want the best players in the best form to be playing for England, to give England the best hope in any tournament, not just playing against the Australians. So, I just think coach-wise, I just hope Nigel Wood really makes a change. I just think there's a few candidates out there that could improve England. We saw that with Wayne Bennett when he took charge of England, that he got him to the World Cup in 2017, and he definitely increased the interest in England Rugby League. And I think England need that. They think they need a coach that's coached in the NRL. That can really improve this side and get them where they need to be. I think a candidate could be Brian McDermott. He has coached in Super League, but he's recently been at the Newcastle Knights as an assistant for Adam O'Brien, and he's recently moved to the Gold Coast Titans for next couple of years as assistant coach also. So he could be a potential candidate for England Rugby League for the future. And also, Craig Bellamy, I think he would be an ideal coach for England to really develop them. I know obviously he's at the Melbourne Storm still at the moment, but he's not going to be at the Melbourne Storm for much longer. So, there's a real opportunity there for England Rugby League to make a move on, a world-class coach who can really give England a bit of a good opportunity to, really compete in the next couple of years. So, it's very interesting times for England Rugby League. I think Herbie Farmer, after that third test, said, there is a lot of positivity coming out of England Rugby League, but, that's all good and well saying that, but on paper, England have to win games, not just against, the average teams like France and Wales in friendly games. We need to be playing the likes of New Zealand and Australia, Samoa and Tonga on a much more regular basis to really give us that competitiveness that we need. Really, we don't need to be playing sides that we can beat easily. We really need competition to make our players a lot better and to make sure they are playing for the full 80 minutes, because these other sides, international sides, can play for a full 80 minutes, whereas England can't. I thought England probably only played for like 50, 60 minutes max overall in their series, an okay level, So, yeah, I definitely think there needs to be improvement. England fans, let me know in the comments below who you think you'd like to see, a future England Rugby League coach. Would you like to stick with Shaun Wane? Or, let me know what you think, what your thoughts are. Australia, I thought they had in that average Ashes series. I know that a lot of the players did a bit of travelling while they were there, so they did a bit of sightseeing, so they weren't just, concentrating on playing rugby league. So they did see it as a bit of a holiday, as well as playing the Ashes series. So I thought, Australia could have done a lot better. And put on a lot more better performance, but some of these players haven't played together before, so, and it's also a new coach in Kevin Walters, so he definitely brings different ideas to the Kangaroos camp. So the Kangaroos will definitely be much improved in next year's World Cup, and they definitely will need to be, because we saw in the Pacific Championships final how good New Zealand were, and they've got really good players and really good depth that can challenge Australia. So Australia will definitely need to be very much more competitive, I think, in attack. Especially, we didn't really see that flair in the second and third game that we did in the first game. So yeah, very interesting times for Australia Rugby League also to see what the future holds. As ever, there's a massive talent pool there for Kevin Walters to pick from, so it's not really a major concern compared to England, where we haven't really got that many players to pick from that are quality wise that good. We've got players that are born Australian. We've had Victor Radley, AJ Brimson, born Australian players. Okay, they do qualify to play for England via their parents, but that's not good. We should be not relying on picking born Australian players to play for England, because there's not enough talent out there. So yeah, there's still a lot of concern around the future of England Rugby League and Australia Rugby League. And the player of the tournament for me, I definitely like Reece Walsh. I thought he lit up the Ashes series and made it a really good spectacle. I know he didn't really do much in that second test, but the first test, he looked electric. In the third test, he scored a couple of tries at the end, even though he didn't play that well. But he's definitely a major celebrity, not just in the southern hemisphere, but in the northern hemisphere now. So it's great to see him playing his best rugby league and creating some media attention for our game also. Nathan Cleary, he was criticised a bit as well in the media for his performances for Australia. But at the same time, when you've got lots of leaders in that Australian side, he doesn't have to be the best player on the park. He just needs to do his job, do his kicking job well, and put Australia in them great positions. And he doesn't need to be that X factor player that everybody wants him to be. Like he is at the Penrith Panthers. When he's playing for New South Wales and Australia, he does have different roles. He's not that number one player in the side. So there's always critics out there. I thought Cameron Munster and Nathan Cleary did their job, and Harry Grant especially. I thought he had a great Ashes series as well. His leadership skills definitely helped Australia, win the series with flying colours also. So, people can be very critical of certain players in the side, but they do play different roles when they play for their states and for their countries also. So, yeah, Australia fans, let me know what you thought of the Ashes series. I know you won 3-0, but do you think that Australia should have put more points on the board and really made it a bit more of an embarrassing series for England? Or do you think England did okay to kind of stop the points being scored and being aggressive and stuff? So yeah, let me know your thoughts of the Ashes series, and and also don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on social media as well. Thanks for your time, and I'll have a chat with you very, very soon.